Hello, everybody. Today we're going to be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. In the last episode, we saw a couple of events happening. Like we saw the the Arizona Nevada Union pop, as well as a little bit of a Mexican. This continent expanded once again. Korea expanded. And we saw some alliances spreading over nope, not provinces. Alliances spread over to the European continent and the South American continent. And in this episode, we're going to see even more ideological shifts happen when it comes over to Europe, and a lot more countries are about to get democratic. First one is going to be this pink one right here, then this grayish one right there, as well as Catalonia. Surprisingly, the northern Italians become democratic, as well as the Norwegians up here. Even the Filipinos become democratic, which is very surprising. These two become democratic, but remember, this is flawed democracy. It's not total democracy. But we also see more countries become fascist, like we see this country right here become fascist, as well as the Sinai country. But then countries around them, such as Cyprus, start to become democratic. And there's a lot of new democratic countries forming pretty much everywhere. And it's not limited to any specific place, as there is just a lot of new countries becoming democratic. This is due to the rapid kind of influence from the democratic nations in Africa and South America, as well as the most influential ones over here in Europe. The most influential Democrats in Europe are obviously the British Political Union, and then the Southern Front. Greece is also becoming very democratic, and the same thing happens with the Northern Italian. Oh yeah, here's the economical alliance layer. It's between these guys over here, so that's pretty cool. But coming over here to the Chinese region, we see that a bunch of these not the right a bunch of these countries start to go ahead and join the Cross Alliance in fear of the Circle Alliance. So the Circle Alliance in this region is of course the Green, and they get support from like a lot. The gray Chinese country gets support from a lot of these Chinese countries in this region because of the fact they want to get rid of this green. They even get the Philippines on to this alliance, which is a good thing for them. Coming over here, they do get the North Indian Federation onto their alliance, as well as this country over here, which used to be a part of the North Indian Federation. I guess I just called it North India now, although it includes some lands over here that were just owned by a different country. This kind of Qatari country goes ahead and joins in on the Cross Alliance, as well as Egypt, of course. While other countries, like the good old Syrian Union, is gonna join in on the Circle Alliance. But overall, the square the these guys right here, they're getting the support from most of the world, which is good because they're democratic. So even countries like the Northern Italians join their alliance. Countries like the Greeks join their alliance, which is surprising. Greece hasn't joined an alliance in a long time. The pink team over here, they join. The Catalonians also join. Now the gray former Red Iberians, they don't join because they realize that if they join an alliance, it might be suspicious to a lot of people, and who knows, they could get jumped. Because, this used to be the red team and the blue team, and I'm betting that these countries, this guy and this guy, are probably not going to be allowed to do too much because of the fact they used to be the red and the blue Italians. I mean, Iberia. But yeah, but let's go over here to the Mexican region, and oh boy, I forgot to update this. Good thing for these guys, they are a you know they're a democracy, full on democracy, which is a little rare for this region. America, the former blue team, didn't have much fully democratic nations come out of it. They're flawed, sometimes monarchs, and sometimes dictatorships, like we saw with this guy. But some countries are going to be shifting over to fascism in support of, well, of course, the fascists in South America. These countries include the purple team right here, this pinkish country right here, this blue team right here, or no, this brown team. I was thinking of the color, as well as this lime team right here. And this is, of course, terrible for everybody because fascism is spreading and it's not doing. And, well, yeah. And, of course, with the new ideologies, new, the countries are going to go ahead and join on their respective alliances. And this will not be good, as this is going to continue the hatred in this region that was already apparent with Michigan. But yeah, so that's the wrong guy. This guy, the Michiganders, go ahead and join the Cross Alliance because they know what's about to happen. And that is, of course, the brown Americans have joined in on the side of the Circle team. The brown Americans, that does not sound. But these guys also go ahead and join because, they're also fascist. And from here, these elf nations are going to condemn the this guy right here. So, unfortunately for the Star Alliance, they're gonna lose their two elf members, and these guys are gonna go ahead and join in on the Cross Alliance along with the Michiganders. And something to note here is that these two countries they still have good relations with the Star Alliance, but also they proclaim they will not take any land from the Brown Americans if or when they lose a war, and they will just make sure that they don't want to really take much land. They just want to have peace, and clearly the fascists entering in the Americas is the opposite of that. So these guys are also going to go ahead and join in on the side. If you remember, these guys are a elf country. They were a part of the blue team, the blue Iberians. But the blue Iberians, there was a large elf population in this kind of Arkansas area. So, yeah, that's why they joined. And because why not? The rest of the elf nations are going to go ahead and join in on the side of the Cross Alliance because they feel like they could just get targeted in the future. And, you know who also joins the Cross Alliance? The Nevadan, New Mexican Union. But you want to know what happens then? These guys join the Cross Alliance. But you don't want to know what happens then? These guys join the Circle Alliance. Wow. And so do these guys. And, well, this is just not looking good. Like, every single continent is literally involved in this. And, yeah, North America and South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, Oceania, they're all involved in one way or another, with alliances, of course. And, these guys, the Cross Alliance, they have more, members, but the Circle Alliance is pretty strong. So it's kind of even thing. But I did forget this guy. This guy is right now being considered European. However, it's kind of devolving into its own thing, its own continent, of course. That's what I said. Also, I did provinces for this, and yeah, this is what it looks like. They're honestly kind of small, but that's because there was already a large population here from the ethnic peoples that were on, the main like 5 or 4 islands on the Azores. I'm pretty sure. No, is it called the Azores? I think it is. Maybe it's that. I don't know. Also, I don't even know who is that. It looks gold, but there's no gold. Oh no, there's these guys. Also, what are these provinces? What did I do here? I made this into one. I didn't combine it, and then there's like a bunch of small. I don't know what I did there. I think I was just stupid. Classic me though. But anyways, getting off of alliances because that is getting a little old right now. We're gonna move on to some wars, and actually, let's go to Central Asia. And here's where provinces and stuff is going to matter. As we can see, there's 4 provinces in this region. We got this one right here, a part of the orange team. This one right here, a part of the blue team. And then these two, a part of the yellow team. These are their own ethnicity. These, I'm not going to give a name to it because I'm going to forget. But they're their own ethnicity. And that's why the provinces look so weird. It's totally not because, there was some issues in the map. Totally not. But these all are going to go ahead and declare independence. But they're actually just a what? They're actually just, aka terrorist group. And like I said, they are pretty much just a terrorist organization. And yeah, the nations that have owned this land cannot take it back as they feel like they will be, well, executed by these terrorist groups as they have advanced technology that is kind of unheard of for this region. Right now, I don't know what the year would be. I would say it's around the 1970, 1980 region. And if you know anything about, well, the world policy in that region, you know about nuclear weapons. However, the nuclear weapons are not as important as something else, which is called, well, discovering space. Space is the main thing for this time, like the moon. The moon is kind of getting researched a lot more. People have landed on it already, but they haven't established colonies or anything like that. And there hasn't been any treaties saying they can. So they definitely can in the future, but just right now, they're just establishing research onto the region. But staying in this area, I don't know why I just ranted and yapped for like a whole minute there about space and nuclear weapons. These guys have very weird and advanced technology, and they will go ahead and have a well, this is not really necessarily a capital. It's more of a administrative position of governance, which is basically the same thing as capital. What that basically means right now, this is the place where they all administer their information, but it's not a full on capital of this country. But it still will be right there. So yeah, kind of dangerous because this. But hey, I don't think it matters. But what does matter is that they've been committing heinous acts to some of the other countries around them, especially this gray country and the blue country, which are their primary subjects and ones they will terrorize the most. By the way, this video, I'm recording this on Friday the 23rd, and this video is going up on Wednesday the 28th. So, if this is really weird. This is the farthest I've ever pre recorded, and there's not even a reason. I just want to record right now. Like, a week ago, I just didn't want to record at all, and now I want to record a lot. That's just called YouTube for you. And sometimes you get burnt out, sometimes you just don't. So, yeah. By the way, we haven't had barely anything happen in Siberia. Let's go ahead and take a look at a lot of things happening in Siberia. Not in this country, though. There's like nothing happening in it anyway. We're talking about this green country. It's relatively strong for the region. It did just have a war with the pink team over here. Technically not, though. It's just a rebel group that wanted to be a part of the green team. But there is just a bunch of unrest within this country. And it's mainly over the fact that there's still a monarchist country. Now, first of all, I kind of have to update this real quick. And in this region, monarchies aren't very respected, and there's not a lot of monarchies even in the region at all. And well, when you have a monarchy, and there's currently an ideology war happening between fascists and Democrats, you can already tell what's gonna happen. There's kind of not a lot of green in this region, so I don't know what to make this. There's red, there's blue, there's purple over here. Purple over here. There's yellow up north, so I can't make it yellow. There's kind of brown, which is kind of gold. There's orange over here, orange right here. I have no clue what to make this. Maybe like a that, yeah. So a lot of democratic forces over here in this region go ahead and pop up. They're just Democrats, and they don't want to be a part of this monarchist government. And then we have this kind of fascist group over here in this area who doesn't want to be a part of the monarchist either, but definitely don't want to go ahead and group in with the Democrats. Now, the monarchist, which still have the capital, of course, is going to fight against these two rebel groups, and they're going to do well in the start. But, once they realize that overall, in the end, they're just going to get steamrolled, they kind of just divide up a plan with these two rebel groups, which will allow them to remain and form their own country. Let's go ahead and take a look at this peace treaty. Okay, so this peace treaty is looking a little weird. This bluish team will get all of this land, and I am gonna make them a little darker blue. Or should I make them lighter blue? Darker blue. Honestly, I'm kind of liking that look. It's kind of like a dark cyan. And then, well, for this peace treaty, we see the purple team gets all of that territory, while the green team gets all of this. And the purple team darker. Should I make them lighter or should I make them darker? I think I made them lighter, which is a good choice in my opinion. And well, of course, let's go ahead and do capitals. So, uh, very interesting. I'm surprised that these countries have this many major cities. Honestly, what is major cities in this scenario or in this whole series? I don't know. It could be like 100,000, which would be very little. It could be a 500,000, which is more reasonable. It could be a million, which is a little less reasonable. I don't really know how many population these major cities would, because I know it's had to. I don't know, because I don't think this major city has the same population as like this, the capital of South France. I'm just saying. Obviously, it doesn't have to be the same population, but I just don't know. But anyways, off the yapping, the capital of this purple team will be right there. While the capital of the Dark Cyan team will be right there. Both of these countries' capitals are really close to other countries. That's interesting. But of course, we can't forget that this doesn't make any sense anymore. Alright, so there we go. Now that makes a little bit more sense, and now it's time to go ahead and do military alliances. So of course these guys are gonna join the Circle Alliance, while these guys join the Cross Alliance. These guys don't do anything, because they can't really. And the map is getting filled in fast. But finally, looking at some more stuff, we can go ahead and see that this Borneo country that it used to be well, under the Southeast Asian Union, is having a little bit of a civil war, and this time it isn't for ideologies, it's just a regular civil war. Who knows what it's over? Where we see a large amount of the Java areas break away, and then they break away from each other. And then a large area over here is going to go ahead and break away. And then they also get a large amount of, well, another rebellion forms out of that. And then one more rebellion will form. And then another area, which will be this area, is going to go ahead and break away. And, well, of course, these guys can do nothing about it but cry and see. No, I'm just kidding. This area is still theirs. But these areas won't budge. So they're gonna go ahead and well, get independence. And let's go ahead and take a look at this peace treaty. So taking a look at this peace treaty, we can see that the orange team in Java gets that, but the lime team gets all of that. So at least we got some unique borders in Oceania. And of course, the purple and yellow countries form. And well, this purple country is a lot more cryptic. Cities wise, we can see that the capital of the Java country will be right, and then all these islands will just have their capital right there. Of course, the purple team capital will be right here, and then the yellow teams will be all the way up here in probably the more populated city, I would say. And that is gonna do it for this Oceanian region. Also, I just realized how many major cities are in Thailand. Probably from the Southeast Asian Union's rapid population boost. Anyways, this video is already 18 minutes long. I did not realize that. But we're gonna go ahead and see, of course, what we see basically in the last thing of every single episode. We can see that these countries are gonna go ahead and, do the thing as expand. Well, the continent is gonna be forming rapidly, and that's gonna be evident. And well, yeah. So the blue team just grows over here in the southern region. That is their main place where they will grow for today. And it looks a little something like that. Whoops. The yellow team will only be gaining all of that, but that's probably a good thing for what we're about to see happen to them. Just let's go ahead and wait for the purple team to expand. And the pink slash purple team will just gain all of this land. Anyways, in the south of the yellow team, a fight breaks out between the government of the the old territory gained, and the new territory gained up. And the new governor is gonna go and say, "This is stupid. Why are we still here?" And well, they go ahead and declare independence as the southern states of Atlantis. That's right. This is the first canon name I've just gained to any country. This is the southern states of Atlantis. And, well, they fully gained independence. That's right, the yellow team didn't even want to fight this because it would just be a hassle for them. So yeah, there you go. We can see that these guys now exist and they don't have any major. Oh no, they actually do have a major city. They're gonna go ahead and upgrade that to their capital. If I can go ahead and get the right thing. There we go. That just doesn't look right. Oh, because it's 9. There we go. But yeah, that is this continent for now. And it will expand in the future. Let's go ahead and add major cities to this. I know this is looking a little bit cursed right now, but it's fine. Anyways, that is gonna go ahead and do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. This was a pretty eventful video, and yeah, so I will see you guys in the next video on the channel. Well, on Friday the video will be a fantasy Wixo, but on Saturday you'll get this Wixo. So I will see you in the next regular Wixo video on Saturday. Good.